I'm Luke Darcy and welcome to Access All Areas, brought to you by OPSM. Hey, coming up on the show, we'll be chatting to Saints star Lee Montagna and Dr Peter Larkin shortly with all the big injuries from the weekend, including the latest on Mark Murphy from the Carlton Football Club. But with me now to chat about all the news from round 8 is Damien Barrett. Welcome to you, Damo.
Hey, Darcy. It's more open than ever, isn't it? And what's happened in the past 5 weeks has been quite incredible. Yeah,
I think we need to get straight into chatting about the Carlton disappointing loss, 69-point deficit, the Adelaide Crows. Damo, have we overrated Carlton?
I'm not going to rule them out just yet, Darcy. I'm just going to give them probably another 2-3 weeks or 3 matches maybe just to sort this out, because as we're about to see, what's happened since round 3 when they beat Collingwood by 10 goals, and we thought then they were the real deal.
Well, they were flag favourite at that stage, Damo. Bookmakers had them outright favourite.
Have a look what's happened since though, Darcy. They've beaten Freo in a really tight-fought game there, and then they defeated the GWS in rounds 5 and 6. But around those games, lost to Essendon badly, lost to St Kilda badly, and lost to Adelaide dreadfully. Collingwood, since that point, at that stage when they were beaten by Carlton on that day, they were 1 and 2, and people were querying, and that was the week that the Mick Malthouse and Nathan Buckley thing blew right up. Unbeaten since that point, the Pies, and they're going the right way. I think with Murphy out, we'll hear from Doc soon about how bad that is. I think if he gets back quicker rather than later, there is a chance, and Carazzo too, they need him back in, but not writing them off just yet.
Hey, Damo, tweets are coming in fast and furious here on Access All Areas. At AFL_AAA is the Twitter address to join in the conversation with Damien Barrett and myself, as our man Andrew, who wants to talk about the Blues, has done, saying that the talent is there, but they've become arrogant due to the hype and have been disgraceful as a result. Damo, I'll get a comment from you in a moment, but Penny has also tweeted through, and she says, no, the Blues can't win the flag, won't even make it in the 8, backline and forwards too short. Does the coach want to fix it? No! Exclamation mark from Penny. So Carlton fans feeling a little upset after the loss on the weekend, Damo.
So if they don't make the 8, the reference there from Penny on the coach will become an issue. Even though he's been re-signed for 2 years, the way that club works and the way that supporter group works when things go badly, that will become an issue. Das, can you make a case for them at all?
Look, I think they're not travelling anywhere near as well as we probably thought at round 3. And I probably bought into a little bit of the round 3 scenario, but it does turn very quickly.
Tell us why they've gone badly since round 3.
Yeah, I think they've still got some holes in their side. I don't think their defenders are really as strong as... I really rated Jamison 18 months ago. I don't think he's come back from injury anywhere near like as good.
Really?
Bauer's a good, honest player who probably isn't quite getting the job done as well. As I look at Essendon's list and see so much more upside in where Essendon are heading at the moment. Dygon was really important last year, and their midfield now with Murphy missing, Waits come in and out of the side, not quite as ready as perhaps we thought after round 3, the Blues. But we've got another tweet that's come through right now, Damo. Ryan has sent us one, and he wants us to take a look at the other side of the argument, Damo. He thinks we're a bit biased. How about appreciating how well Adelaide played and continue to play? Biased? Much? Question mark? Hashtag Victorian, Damo. Maybe it's a fair point. We've focused a lot on the negative. Crows were fantastic.
They were, and I think on the back of the Geelong game, and you add this game yesterday to it as well, we have to take them seriously now, don't we? I mean, a bit like Essendon, they've been a slow burn, I think, on some outsiders and just general observers that we just couldn't get our heads around. Are they the real deal? Yeah, they are. They absolutely are, as Essendon is, and it's taken us probably to round 8 to make that, I think, assumption on Adelaide, and maybe round 6 or 7 on Essendon. But they're both in the mix, aren't they?
Brendan Sanderson, what an unbelievable impact that man has had. Their draw is just incredible. They are guaranteed top 4. There is virtually no way they're not going to make top 4 now. If you look at, they've got Gold Coast, Greater Western Sydney, Port Adelaide. Their run home is just extraordinary. Now they've won some games away from home. The AAMI Stadium goes, barring some unforeseen horrendous run with injury, you can just about lock the Crows away for mine.
Did that on the back without having Tex Walker yesterday. He's still got another game to miss, but Tippett didn't have a massive say on that game when it was being won. The upside's immense, isn't it? But there's a lot of debate as to who was the biggest loser on the round 8, whether it was Carlton, North Melbourne or Melbourne. Let's have a look at another one of those clubs, but we've been talking about them negatively since round 1, that being Melbourne. This tells you why they are where they are on the ladder with a shocking percentage. They are last in these areas: total disposals, contested possessions, uncontested possessions. Disposal efficiency, they're second last inside 50s, they're just above GWS there, and they're second last on goals scored. That translates to being very low on the ladder, obviously. One other thing, Das, quarters won on the season. So quarters won on the 8 matches, 32 quarters. They've won 4. They've won 4 quarters out of the entire season. Even GWS has nearly doubled that figure. So Those figures...
Alarming is the word that comes to mind, Damo. We can, as we just pointed out with Carlton, we can tend to over-exaggerate how well someone's going and do the same with how bad. But Melbourne, there isn't any real hope and great light that I can see at the moment. 100-point losses just absolutely destroy the fabric of the football club. To not have a win, to not have one or two players that you can hang your hat on and say, at least that person is developing and evolving. Mark Newell's found himself in just the worst possible start you could have. And Melbourne supporters, the frustrating time ahead for them. I can't see in the short term any great hope with them improving.
Well, Carlton, Essendon, Collingwood to come. That'll take them to the break, 0 and 11. He talks about a game plan that can get them to finals and win grand finals. Does he now just have to throw that out and just get them a game plan that has them a chance to win one game of football, let alone a season?
No, he can't, because you've got the job selling a game plan that he has to stick the course. But
it's getting him nowhere. It's
in a real hurry. And look, we had people talking today in the Twitter world speaking about the fact they're again looking at draft picks and saying, OK, if we finish last, we get the first two priority pick. I mean, that's another 8-year plan ahead. I mean, it's never that bad, but in this case, at the moment for Melbourne, just trying to find a ray of hope at the moment is a really hard thing to do. Not quite as bad at North Melbourne, Damo, the club that you follow. Brent Harvey will find himself, I think, in some trouble. Have a look at the incident from the weekend. I'll give him some credit for trying to disguise the punch, but only a little bit. He'll be rubbed out later on today. It's a punch to the head. Chad Wingard, the recipient, probably summed up North's day. They were frustrated. 32 points up, 8-minute mark of the final quarter. Just devastating loss.
And he's not the biggest problem North's got at the moment, Brent Harvey himself, but he's just not the player that he once was. He's old, obviously, and his form has been of some concern. But it won't be a form issue that has him out next week. It'll be a match review panel. What do you make of the celebrations from Port Adelaide players' stars after this
Reasonably
game?
animated.
I like them. I'm not sure you did that. Look,
Hamish Hart, this is I'm wrapped for Matthew Primus, who's been under siege, under fire, unfairly in my book. I think way over the top.
And Jacob Surgeon there, gone to ground as though he's won a prelim final or a grand final.
I initially thought he was laughing. He has had a meltdown there, Jacob Surgeon. Damo, I am a sensitive new age man myself. I like tears, but imagine if they actually won a final, they might have to cut him off in some sort of straitjacket. Jacob, I'm not sure that we need to have you bawling after a round 8 loss, albeit a good one. Save your tears for grand final day, Damo.
No, that's the sort of passion they've missed. That's the sort of passion they need to get themselves out of this trough. Let him go.
I don't think any crying is going to help that particular club. The Essendon website, Damo, you came in very excited and you said to me you found something. Is this arrogance or is this an accident?
Arrogance is a bit of both, isn't it? And what we referred to there is the round 9 game, GWS v Essendon. Above where it says GWS v Essendon, it also says Essendon versus the bite. It effectively is, isn't it?
Some sort of smart aleck.
I think it's a mistake. I'm a conspiracy theorist from way back.
There's a little smart aleck sitting on his computer there at Essendon going, this will be a bit of a zinger. I'll get this one out. People like you will pick it up and love it. Don't get arrogant, Essendon. You're going beautifully.
No, they need to be arrogant. You need to be arrogant to be good.
I'm not sure you need to be arrogant on your website.
Essendon's an arrogant club, and they've just got some arrogance going, and it's working for them.
Well, a man who won't be arrogant at the moment, who found himself... we've all had shockers before. Poor Josh Hunt. He has had the worst possible night you could have. Everyone's been in that situation.
Have a look at this again, though. Is it that bad? I mean, in the heat of the moment, what he decided to do there, is it that bad?
Yeah, okay. It's that bad. And there's no other way to mix the words. He didn't go hard enough. He will feel horrendous about it. And he knew straight away. And I think, for me, the secondary story was that it totally mentally destroyed him for the rest of the game.
Right.
And he wasn't able to compete at the level. And that will be a concern because you could just see his body language. He knew. And everyone knows on the ground. Your teammates know. He had one, previously. And look, let's be honest. It takes enormous courage to play the game.
That's where I'm coming from. And are we unfairly looking at what he does on?
I think we are. I think the game is scrutinised to such. Glenn Archer was voted about 12 years in a row the most courageous player in the game. He used to make himself physically ill with the fear of having to put himself in that situation. Now, he found a way to overcome it. It's a skill. It's not a slight on your character. It's a technical thing that you need to get right, and we shouldn't put a black line through people.
Yeah, well, we are, though. We are. I mean, you've just potted him, as Matthew Lloyd has, as Shane Crawford has.
Not potting him. I'm just telling you the way it is, Damo. He knows. I mean, he's hearing that internally from his own club. So I can't say to you, that was great and you feel good about it. It's not the way. Unfortunately, Jonathan Brown, Joel Searle, these type of players, they've set the bar so high for courage that for mere mortals, it's a standard that's almost impossible to live up to. Hey, Jonathan Brown, speaking of him, I reckon he's helped his old mate out, don't I? Let's have a look at this.
So Luke Powell's come across there, playing for GWS now, and you reckon he's just despaired in what he would have normally done to another opponent, yeah?
He would have killed anyone else, Brownie. Look, he went through, he saw his old mate.
I reckon you're right.
And just thought, you know what, Lukey, I love you, mate. I'm going to leave that one out. And I think that's a bit of history there, and I reckon that's not a bad thing.
Good on him too. Good on him too. Hey, Friday night, big controversial moment late in the game. Fasolo took the mark and didn't play on because he didn't go off the line. Josh Hunt, your man, got him and got a 50-metre penalty against him, kicks the goal, Pies win the game. As you can see, the reaction there of Nathan Buckley compared with Chris Scott. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Scores level, minute 11 left on the clock. I don't think there's a lot of controversy in this, Damo, because the 50-metre penalty absolutely had to be played.
Yep.
Again, Josh Hunt's nightmare just continued to feel for him. But you're right, the reaction was great, wasn't it? Both coaches, they were on a knife edge. They knew exactly what that meant. Fasolo kicks the goal and effectively it's game over. Now, not only do the players have nightmares, Damo, occasionally umpires have shockers. Take a look at this boundary umpire. What have you done? He's thrown it the wrong way. He's nearly thrown it 4 rows into the crowd. How do you do that? I don't think you can actually try and do that. He needs a bit of a good hard look at himself, that man. It's not that hard to throw the ball over your head.
I like that word.
Now, I've got the worst decision of the year for you. Don't.
Go for it. No, this is as bad as this.
You won't get a worse decision ever in football than this. Now, again, we all make mistakes. I hate bagging up. But this is so funny. Now, look at Selwood. He picks the ball up. Advantage not there. So I'll toss it back to my big mate there, Jack Darling. He's called it a throw.
So he didn't do anything wrong here, though, did he? Let's have a look.
So play-on's a call.
Play-on's a call.
He says, no, I don't want to
doesn't
play
take a
on.
step.
So Milne says, yeah, fair enough. Lob that one back.
And that's a free against
He's
West
played it
Coast.
for a throw, which is just unbelievable. Who is the man?
Jacob Mollison, his name.
He needs to be named Jacob. Have a good hard look at yourself
Not
as
very
well.
good. Daz, the game committee met for the first time in 2012. What are they going to do for next year's rules? The 2-2/3-1 substitute interchange options on the agenda, as is the controversial ruck rule which was used in the NAB Cup, where the ruckmen cannot illegally come together until the ball's well in the air. What do you make of it? Separation of the ruckmen on the contest?
Staggered, to be honest with you. If this one's on the agenda up the top, I think it's miles away from getting up, and I hope it is. NAB Cup's great. It's a great time to trial these things, give them a look. There was nothing that I saw in the NAB Cup that would suggest that we need to fast-track this one through. I'm massive on the game, giving it time to breathe. Now, if you've got an issue with it, there are a number of other ways to go about it, like paying free kicks, like adjudicating the game the way it should be. Everyone is obsessed with clearance rates in the AFL. We've got to get the game moving on. You keep adding rules, there's unintended consequences always, and we haven't had enough a look at it. Let's get more of a chance. No one that I speak to, Rucks, thought that this was just the panacea to change the game. We need to implement another rule.
So leave this one as it is.
Just take a deep breath. Give it some more time. If you like it so much, we need at least another 2 years of NAB Cup before we even think about bringing it in. Hopefully that's the case.
Did it work in the NAB Cup in any way?
I think the clearance rates are up, but there were some farcical decisions played where ruckmen were paid free kicks because they encroached on the zone. It's too hard. There's enough the umpires to go on rather about separating.
You're on the Laws Committee once.
I was, yes, for a period of time.
So you're telling the new people to leave this one alone?
Only because you're asking me, Damo. I think we need to let the game breathe, let it evolve of its own course. I think we've had enough rule changes in recent times, Damo. This is one that they need to just hold their breath on. Damo, it's time for our OPSM poll. You can question and head to our Facebook page to register your vote. Is Scott Pendlebury currently the best player in the league? Which is a very good question to ask. Head to our Facebook page. I reckon he just about is, Damo.
I'd say undoubtedly yes right now, and he's done it really well. On the big money too now.
We've also asked our Twitter followers for their thoughts on the best player in the competition, and Ratsis has said Pendlebury first, Stanton and Dangerfield are all in career best form at the moment. Hard to split the three of them. I'd like to add Joe Watson, the Bomber skipper, with a bullet. He is just taking his game to a whole new level playing forward. And we might have forgotten a little man called Gary Ablett, the little master who just outright is the best player in the competition.
Well, missing that game with the knee and then coming back affected by the knee, it's just taking him off that conversation.
It take long to be just sidelined in AFL.
We're week by week in issue.
Don't, mate, we need to take a break. Coming up next, Dr. Peter Larkins has got an update on all the big injury news. Mark Murphy, we're really looking forward to hearing how bad that shoulder injury is. And now, thanks to OPSM, it's time for Did You See That?
Welcome to Did You See That? A roundup of this week's footy action. In a week of trainer taming.
Your old mate takes a tumble there, Richard.
Karate kicking.
Bicycle Maradona style.
And Guy McKenna unhinged. These are the top clips you missed from a week of ball flinging fun. Clip 1. It was a grand final rematch between Collingwood and Geelong. But did you see that this time it was under lights?
Have a look at this. Bang. Hits the fluoro. Wow.
In the end, Collingwood cleaned up. Clip 2. To celebrate the Indigenous round, some players wore themed boots. But did you see Michael Ferrito give his boots the boot?
He's going to kick with the sock.
A granny knot should sort that out. Clip 3. The Western Bulldogs might have left with 4 points. But did you see the Gold Coast's Mark Wiley working his pants off? Debriefs are usually reserved for after the game. Clip 4. It seems the mullet is making its way back into the AFL. But did you see the fashion parade dedicated to Warwick Kappa's famous locks?
And they've got a little fashion parade going.
Some things are better left in the past. Clip 5. Essendon might have taken the honours at the Dreamtime match, but did you see Bomber Thompson's contribution in the coach's box?
That's what assistant coach is doing. Bomber, what are you doing over
The rare sight of a coach copping a spray.
in the back of my ear?
For your chance to win a pair of Oakley sunglasses valued at $159.95, go to afl.com.au/Did You See That? And vote for your favourite Did You See That moment.